Because, as it turns out, the neighbors didn't want a ritual sacrifice in their backyard. Anyway, howdy. Nearly seniors, it is Nair. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. I have some stuff written down on my list. There's a couple heavy-duty ones, but first, this is light. We have a 2 o'clock meeting at the beginning of every month in the community center, and then today we have a lunch afterward, but it is 1:18 as I'm recording this. I went for an early-ish walkies, came back, ate some stuff, and fell asleep for a time in my chair. Now, why did I fall asleep? Oh, hokey smokes. Last night at 2:30 in the morning, I sleep with just a sheet on, with my feet uncovered, with the air conditioner on, with 2 fans blowing, and at 2:30 last night, I had that muscle from way up deep in my hip, deep up inside your body at the groin, all the way down to my toes cramp up. I got out of bed, got standing, and then had to spend time working that cramp out. And once I get vertical, it takes some time, but it goes away. If I stay horizontal, lying down, it stays forever. So that was good. Went back to sleep after that, and out of bed at 7:30, out for walkies about 9, and then came back, ate food, fell asleep, fell into a food coma, and then I'm awake now. So I decided to record this, but yeah, hokey smokes, that bloody cramp. Now, it could be because one of the things with getting a prep for a colonoscopy is you may find that you are low on potassium and magnesium. So if this is caught, well, it's not potassium. I have taken potassium tablets in the past for it and not touched it. So it could well be magnesium, but I don't know because every time I've gotten labs, everything has been great. So I have no ideas. Anyway, though, written down on my list. First, I'm going to start with this one. Yesterday's colonoscopy, because this entire week has been a nightmare, getting ready for them to shove a tube up my backside and make sure my intestines aren't going rot and then going to kill me. So, yeah, that was fun getting the prep. Now, the actual procedure itself, this time, they just plain knocked me out. They put an IV in my arm, and instead of using fentanyl, as the anesthesiologist was helping me to get into position for the procedure, I remember moving, and then I woke up in the recovery room. I recovered quickly. I was up, got dressed fast, and I was done. The instructions say, try not to eat anything greasy, eat small amounts, don't eat anything spicy. Your system is empty now. It's a shock. And that is a thing. If you fast for too long and then eat a big amount, you can die. One of the problems back in World War II when they were releasing people from these camps is they would give them food. And because they were starving, they would chow on these. And then they would die. When your system has had nothing and it is in extreme starvation mode, you have to reintroduce solid food very carefully, very slowly. Even water can kill you in normal amounts. So, yeah, you got to be careful. But I was nice and emptied out, and I went to sleep, which I'm going to rant about this. I got the colonoscopy written up there. Continuity of consciousness. People talk about, continuity of consciousness. There is none. I was turned off for the procedure, and then I turned back on when the stuff worked its way out of my system. My body was there. I was not. We are the delicate play of electric stuff and chemistry in our cerebral cortex. And when you alter that, it alters you. I was not present during that time. I had no continuity of consciousness in that fashion. I went away and then I came back. And now I am aware of who I am again. Gotta love that. And each time you fall asleep, same thing. Who you are when you are asleep is not who you are when you are awake, because after all, a lot of your brain waves are dampened down, and who you are is when they're working up there, not down here. So thumbs up. Anyway, with the colonoscopy, oh boy, last time I had one, I had so many polyps inside of me that my gut burned for days. Oh my God, it was painful. Because they have to snip and cauterize. And so there's a lot of that going on. Now, I've had that happen before, so I was really worried. It's been 6 years since they've gone in and taken a look. So I figured it must have been pretty bad. Excuse me. And then the doctor comes, good golly, that's fine. Then the doctor comes out and says, you had 7, which may be a lot if you are a person that doesn't have polyps. But for me, 7, that was like, wow, that's good news. It may be bad for other people, but for me, that was wonderful. Only 7? You have the descending, your ascending, and your transverse colon, which, 3 big sections. Is pretty long. It fills up, goes side and then up your abdomen and then across just under your rib cage. So it's pretty big. Then they had to go up and through. And that was 7. That's like less than 2 per section. That was fine. 5 years till the next one. Hopefully that one's good too. But yeah, clean bill of health in that fashion. So far. They send everything in for not biopsies, for analysis. I mean, effectively, they did the biopsy. That's where they take a sample. But they check all of those things routinely. And I've been precancerous before, so here's hoping that there is nothing or it's which means they would have got it. So that's a good thing, and it's all over. I've been eating food as per normal. As stated, you're not supposed to eat anything greasy, you're supposed to eat small amounts, and you're not supposed to eat anything spicy. And then, so reintroduce food slowly introduce into your system. And what I did was I had a big bowl of hot chili with some spicy pinto beans mixed into it. So it was a full can of chili with about this much pinto beans added to it, spicy, to bring to just underneath the level of one of these bowls. And then I ate the entire thing, which, again, you're not supposed to do. And I felt great. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I might suddenly die, but I doubt it. Nah, there's no problem. It's just for your own comfort that they say to do it slowly. So that's fine. Thumbs up for that. I came out of it good. I'm hoping everything's going to be fine. And the thing with bodies, because I had some chest pains today that I've had before in the exact same place, of the exact same type. There were sharp pains on my rib cage. I didn't go in again because I've already been there before, and it didn't. Now the thing is, when you can just say, okay, this is a pain that I'm not going to pay attention to because I've had it before, or you've had chronic pain especially, that makes life especially dangerous for you. Because I have so many pains just from living. How am I supposed to know when something that needs to be checked up on sneaks in on that? If my leg is killing me, how am I supposed to know if I should go and take care of some other pain inside of my leg when I've got 9 pains in my leg and now there's a 10th one? You may say, oh, I need to go check that. But when you've got those 9 pains all demanding attention and then a new one shows up, it's more like, well, I better walk a little different for a while because these things happen. After all, when it comes to weird pains that, might be dangerous, I had a pain in the right upper quadrant of my abdomen, just under my rib cage, right where your liver would protrude if you were having problems with it. And since I was an active alcoholic for about 25 years, I have a fatty, it's fatty fibrous liver. And so I was worried because I had a spot that hurt bad. We did tests. We did ultrasounds. And as it turns out, that pain that I thought that was going to kill me was an abdominal muscle cramp. And it's nothing. I got a pain in my back that I wanted to check up on because it's sharp in my lower rib cage, and they already did a CT when they checked on my lungs, and there's nothing there that would hurt. Probably a muscle cramp because I got scoliosis and stuff over here. Which pains do you check out? Which pains do you not? People with chronic pain tend to die of things that other people don't, because it's like, oh, just another pain. If it gets worse, I'll check on it. You got so many. But I've talked about the colonoscopy. I'm going to talk about this one real quick because there's this one channel that I follow, Etiquette, what is it, Internet Etiquette for comments. God, I'm awful today that way. But the guy's Eric something or other, goes by Salvia something in a whole bunch of his e-name things, but he does comment etiquette. And one of the things was he was reading a comment from someone from some incident that had happened in Iowa. And I love these stupid little rivalries that may exist or may not. Whether they're between countries or they're between states or whatever. I mean, I've seen memes just on maps and stuff where like these people will take a map of Europe and they'll like erase France and then put, finally, the nightmare is over. And then of course you'll have some French person underneath there that goes, yeah, as a French person, I totally agree. The one that really got me laughing because I thought it was funny is he was reading something, a quote from someone where they said, come on, people from Iowa, we're smarter than that, we can do better. And he just looked up at the camera going, Iowa? And then went on from there, just that disbelieving, you said Iowa, smarter than that? So I love these stupid little petty rivalry things. Oh yeah, they're smart over there, aren't they? And then of course this morning, just to feel better, that little drainage field that I can go to, it is on a sharp little point. Most corners on blocks will be like this. This one's more like this because of the odd roads. And so it goes outward and then becomes the rest of the block, but it goes block point. This is where the little drainage ditch is there. It's got that little human created thing which collects drainage water in a tube, and I imagine it is disseminated outward somehow because in that drainage pit there's a lot of greenery right around that tube filled with dirty water. And of course it is, it's dirty water. As a drainage field, that's where we send just garbage water. So there's just garbage water there in that drainage thing. But the thing is, plants don't care if it's garbage water. In fact, the garbage in it, that probably makes it much more nutritious for them. So that entire drainage pit right around that tube is blooming with greenery. Not so wet that you squish when you walk up to it. In fact, the surface is still hard, but plants have roots, and so they go down, and the closer you get to it, the taller the grass gets and the other plants until you can't even get to it unless you come from the other side where there's just rocks. But inside of that pit, right in that little point where it goes downward, even though there's traffic, it's still kind of isolated because of that dip into the ground and the greenery. And so walking down into there and then being surrounded by the wonderful smell of mint from these plants that are all over, it's absolutely wonderful. That's one of the reasons I like to go walking on that trail that goes by the stream. No, I can't erase the fact that there are people all around, but it's just nice. It's a nice little spot that, yeah, you hear things, but you don't really see things. You're in a little pit with green stuff all around you. And it smells so nice. Now, I don't like mint just as I wouldn't want it as a smell all the time in my room. and I don't like to eat it except as candy. And even at that, I mint out real quickly when I'm eating food. Just walking down in there with my feet kicking these plants, and unfortunately, because of the way they are, stepping on some of them. But, you know, you can destroy up to 90% of a plant's biomass before you actually take away its ability to come back. They can spring back with just 10% of their biomass. So stepping on the outer stalk, yeah, it's sad. I hope it gets built back up. And I tried to be as least damaging as possible, but it happens. And of course, walking through there, that brought this mint all around me. And it was just so nice. And on the path, I called up the city. I imagine a lot of people did. I don't know if the city did this or if it was some irate citizen with a chainsaw. But they had 2 logs that had fallen. Somebody chainsawed a tree and it fell over and broke in such a fashion that there were 2 big logs fallen over the path. If you dropped onto your hands and knees, you could have wiggled underneath them. If you had climbed over the top of them, which they came up to about here on me, you could have gotten over them. For someone like me, that was just, you're not getting past it. Now, normally when I see the city come in and do it, they take the logs and stuff away. This time all the logs were just piled by the side of the trail. So it might be that it was just an irate citizen. But the path is open. I've been down there walking on it, so that's a very good thing. And I want to take the tablet back out and record some stuff. So hopefully that'll get done. Yay, definitely a good thing. What else do I have over here? Well, this one's really quick. Jesse Koskinen in the comments had mentioned something about, I think it was demonic names, or not demonic names, fantasy names or some such. I can't remember what brought it up, but that reminded me of something from long ago that I talked about in my videos here years and years and years ago, and I had thought of it even before that. There are words in every language that, if pronounced correctly, if you're a native speaker, or just a word from, you know, if you're outside of that language, that you can just say properly, but they sound dangerous. I've come up with 2 demonic beings. That is aspirin and asparagus, which is just aspirin and asparagus. Pronounce them differently. They can sound mighty different. But asparagus is just asparagus. Just pronounce things differently, and hokey smokes, you can come up with any name at all. That's wonderful about language. And especially if you have a thing like the demonic being Handschuhe, which is literally hand shoe in German, which is just a glove. So thumbs up for that. Do I have anything else on here? I taught a lot of common words. Colonoscopy. I do have a stack of things over here. These are actually what have turned into, of all the things I have, the board games, solo board gaming up there, these ones have so far, even if I don't play them, because sometimes at the end of the day when I have time to get them out, I've used up all my spoons, I can't get all the little fiddly bits out and then actually have the energy, mental or physical, to play them. But just owning them, thinking about them, opening them up and playing with the pieces can be just as satisfying as actually playing. These ones, in my mind, are my current favorites, and I have to say that even though I've only played it once and only a few rounds, I love this game just because of the Badger Vokter. Well, not just because, but I love that character. It means like guardian in whatever bloody language this is again. Now that I've irritated whoever speaks this language, my brain is barely functional. Instead, I fell asleep in a food coma and just woke up. But I love their little character of the Badger running from Garnley Eric, and the art on the cards and all the little pieces. Imagination-wise, I love this one a lot. So I just thought I'd mention that. Now, when it comes to actual gameplay-wise, I've played this one for the channel, but I'd like to play it again. There's one expansion for it that I will never end up getting. Desolate, where you're trying to escape in a space situation from aliens and get out. Escape with your life. The one expansion that I'm not going to get, even though it does add one thing to the game for solo players, is it adds multiplayer, up to 4 players. Luckily, there aren't many expansions. I think there were 2. Insurgents 1 and Insurgents 2. It added extra aliens and stuff like that. It's good. I like it because of the imagination part, and I like taking it out and digging through the fiddly bits. This one, even though it's in a different box, it's in an iron chest box, is not an iron chest. It is Tin Realm, and I took it out of that and put it into here because it just doesn't fit there anymore. It doesn't have any expansions, but I went and put all of the things in like card protectors, and I don't have the right size, so nothing fits inside the original tin box anymore. Life is life, isn't it? Now that I moved that stuff, I'm not going to be able to get it back in there. It doesn't fit. The horror. And then, of course, I've showed and talked about this one. This is one that sparks my imagination a lot, even though I haven't played it but for a few times. Unfortunately, this one is a fiddly bits type of game. And even though it may not seem like it, because when you open up the instructions and you take a look at the setup, it looks like there's just a couple cards and a couple things over here. But when you set it up, you've got your entire character you got to track, you've got your other page, there's all these tokens, there's sheets that you got slider stuff on. It gets pretty fiddly. And the more fiddly bits, the less chances I'm actually going to be able to do it. But it is good, sparks my imagination. After all, Tin Realm is the story of you're caught in this, on the 5th level of like a mad temple type thing. And you're trying to escape from that, trying to get the shards of a gem and then escape from that place. Iron Helm is you are a grizzled veteran and you're trying to do one last dungeon run before you hang everything up. So it's just, you're old, you're tired, you don't really want to do this, but one last time for the money. And so down you go. And I like that. And then, of course, not of course, the one that I think about a lot, and I've played several times, Space Marine Adventures. As goofy as it is, it's just 10 plus. I mean, this is not a game, you know, if you're ready, if you've been playing chess and you want an added, you know, added complexity, this is not the game that you would want to dip down to. But it is fun. You do have to make some snap decisions that can bite you. Because after all, the more Necrons that teleport in, the smaller the space you have to actually maneuver in. And if you get closer to them, the odds of one of them teleporting in on top of you goes way, way up. And you only need 2 of them to teleport in on top of you, and your Space Marine is out. You get 4 Space Marines to start. That's a major victory if all 4 make it in. If only 3 of them make it in, minor victory. Only 2 make it through, we're not in the victory part anymore. We're in stalemate area. And if you're playing campaign and you only get 2 characters out of there, well, you get 1 reinforcement, which means you have 3 Space Marines to get through it all. And that's like 5 different missions. And each of the levels, 3 different levels, and each one has its own deck. And there's an advanced deck. So it can get much more involved than just, it teleports in on your head. So, thumbs up for that. Do I have anything written up here that I want to talk about because it's 24 minutes in? This is just a reminder of some things so I can remember back to the old days. 10 years ago, well, about that, 9 years ago, when I was living in my brother-in-law's garage and just doing reactions. Now, I was reacting to a lot of K-pop. I remember this one song, I think it was called Exit, that I did a reaction to, and it almost killed me because the song, I like K-pop a lot, and this song was really, really good, and the video for it, wow, my wife had just been dead for like 2 years, and this music video almost broke me because it was the death of somebody and the loss of another person because of that, and it actually in South Korea broke out and really went kind of viral there. So thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, 25 minutes into this, I'm going to cut it short because I'm probably the only one that ever watches these things through, and that's only because I'm making them. If you could type Space Marine into the comments to let both me and the YouTube algorithm know that people actually do watch these videos. Algorithm. Engagement is good, and if you could do me a favor and do that, that'd be awesome. Especially, of course, if you could hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and anything else that you might do. I have a Patreon, I have a GoFundMe if you could check that out. That would be cool. Links are all down in the description. Yay! Past that, if you're a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you. I've been trying to thank you all in the beginning of the videos, but it's impossible for me to make habits except for bad ones, so I don't have anyone that did that. But thank you, each and every one of my patrons. You're beautiful and awesome. People don't leave comments. I like to do the same. I haven't done that. I don't think I've done it for the Patreon patrons yet. Again, I do like to do those, but I can't type them up here. So I did it right, but I said it wrong. For everybody that leaves me a comment, I read each and every one. I'm able to leave more replies to comments than I have in the past. I've got pretty severe nerve compression going on, and I can only type for so long, but after all my computer equipment broke, leaving me with only a tablet, my fat sausage fingers trying to type on a touch screen was torture. So I'm able to at least answer some, and that's a good thing. So thank you, greatly appreciate it. Well, here we are, into the video. I've been ranting for almost a half hour. It is, what the heck time is it? 1:45. Holy smokes, we got that meeting soon. So it's going to be late getting this up, but that is life. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. Talking about long-form content. You take care and have a very good day.